All right, so today we're diving deep into John McAfee.
You know, the antivirus guy.
Yeah, the antivirus guy, but as it turns out, there's a whole lot more to his story,
Yeah, there is.
especially all the stuff around his death.
Yeah, a lot of mystery surrounding his death.
So for this deep dive, we've got a couple of YouTube videos, both featuring hypnotic regressions.
One with a woman named Svetlana,
Okay.
and one with a woman named Tamra.
Hypnotic regressions, huh?
Uh-huh.
So we're dealing with people supposedly accessing, like, hidden memories or past lives or something.
Right.
So what are we hoping to uncover with these?
Well, they both focus on this idea that McAfee didn't actually commit suicide,
Okay.
like the official reports claim.
Interesting.
Instead, they point to something a lot more sinister, like a network of powerful individuals.
Okay.
Or like a system that wanted him silenced.
Okay,
Yeah.
so both these hypnotic subjects use that term, right?
Okay.
This system. What exactly do they mean by that?
It's really interesting how they both describe it as this web of powerful people that control governments and technology, and maybe even influence people's thoughts.
Wow.
Tamara's regression specifically even names the Windsors and the Romanovs.
Whoa, hold on. The Windsors and the Romanovs,
Yeah.
like royalty. Are we talking about some kind of conspiracy theory here?
It's definitely a bold claim, but remember, we're kind of exploring the realm of like subconscious beliefs here.
Right.
What's interesting is how this connects to McAfee's own outspokenness during his life.
Against like a controlling system.
Right, like he was always railing against a system that was trying to control things.
So these regressions are almost like echoing his own warnings.
Yeah, exactly.
So how does McAfee's death fit into all of this? If he was supposedly assassinated by this system, how did they pull it off?
Well, Svetlana's regression actually goes into some detail about this.
Okay.
Apparently, her subject describes McAfee being poisoned with gas and injections, which eventually led to an overdose.
That's chilling. And what about Tamara's regression? Does it offer any insights into McAfee's death?
It doesn't really go into specifics about the method, but the subject does emphasize McAfee's growing fear in the years leading up to his death. Like, he knew he was a target, and he believed that these powerful forces were closing in on him.
So we've got this system, this mysterious system that wanted McAfee silenced.
Yeah.
But why? What made him so dangerous to them?
Both of the hypnotic subjects kind of highlight McAfee's exceptional abilities.
Okay.
Like Svetlana's subject talks about his photographic memory and his ability to just visualize really complex systems.
Like seeing the Matrix?
Yeah, almost like that.
Okay.
Tamara's subject really focuses on his unique understanding of technology and claims that it made him both valuable and dangerous to the system.
So it's not just about some information that he had. It's
Right.
about his actual abilities, his way of seeing and understanding things.
Exactly.
Sounds like they saw him as some kind of technological savant.
Yeah, you could say that.
So this kind of leads us to one of the most intriguing parts of McAfee's story.
Right, his decision to give away his antivirus software for free.
Yeah, that always struck me as odd. Like, a brilliant business move for sure, but why give away something so valuable?
Well, the subject in Svetlana's regression suggests it was more than just a marketing ploy.
Oh, okay.
They believe that McAfee did it to gain influence over millions of computers, almost like a way to fight the system while also leveraging its tools.
So by accepting his free software, we were unknowingly playing into this larger game of control.
That's what they're implying, and it ties directly into McAfee's warnings about digital consent.
Right.
He believed that accepting free software could be seen as like giving unwitting consent to a larger system of control.
Wow.
A system he obviously wanted to disrupt.
That's a thought-provoking idea. We think we're getting something for free, but maybe the real price is our freedom and our privacy.
Yeah, it's a disturbing thought for sure.
Yeah, it is.
But one that really resonates with McAfee's overall message. Like, he was really trying to wake people up to the hidden costs of our increasingly digital world.
So McAfee was fighting this system, but he was also kind of entangled in it.
Absolutely.
He was a complex character, wasn't he?
Very complex.
And then you add in his involvement with cryptocurrency.
Right.
That adds like another layer to this whole thing.
Yeah, definitely.
McAfee was a big proponent of cryptocurrency, right?
Oh, yeah. Huge.
He even predicted like a war between governments and crypto.
He did, and in Tamara's hypnotic regression, the subject actually warns that cryptocurrency is designed to manipulate and control people.
Really?
Yeah.
So the very thing that McAfee championed, this tool for decentralization, is actually another form of control. How does that even work?
It is a paradox, isn't it?
Yeah.
The subject suggests that cryptocurrency can be used for, like, financial surveillance and manipulation, potentially leading to a new form of economic enslavement.
Okay, now I'm starting to see the bigger picture here. McAfee was warning us about the dangers of technology, not just from hackers or viruses,
Right.
but from the very systems that control it.
Exactly. He was way ahead of his time in a lot of ways.
So this brings us to a really interesting period in McAfee's life, his time at NASA.
Oh, yeah. That's a fascinating chapter.
McAfee worked at NASA. I had no idea.
He did. And according to Svetlana's regression, there's a lot more to NASA than meets the eye.
Oh boy, here we go. Down another rabbit hole. Tell me more.
Well, the subject claims that NASA is actually controlled by this, hidden military structure with its own agenda.
What?
They suggest that space exploration is just a cover for developing advanced technologies and weapons,
Okay.
and potentially even collaborations with extraterrestrial beings.
Whoa. Collaborations with extraterrestrial beings. Are we just making stuff up now, or is there any evidence to support this?
Oh, we have to remember that hypnotic regressions are dealing with the realm of subconscious beliefs
Okay.
and perceptions. So it's not necessarily about presenting concrete evidence,
Right.
but rather exploring alternative perspectives and interpretations.
Okay, fair enough. But it does make you wonder, doesn't it? What if there's more going on behind the scenes than we realize?
That's the question McAfee seemed to be asking his whole life.
Hmm.
He was always pushing boundaries, challenging conventions, urging us to look beyond the surface of things.
Okay, so we've got this system that supposedly controls governments, technology, maybe even NASA, according to these hypnotic regressions. Where does that leave us? What hope do we have against something so powerful?
That's a great question, and one that we'll explore further as we dive deeper into these regressions.
Okay.
But before we do that, let's shift our focus to this concept of the mental police that we touched on earlier.
Yeah, that idea that this system can actually monitor and control our thoughts, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
The mental police thing, it's a pretty unsettling idea.
It is.
Do these hypnotic regressions shed any light on how this mind control is supposed to actually work?
Yeah, Tamara's regression actually goes into some detail about it.
Okay.
The subject describes this mental police using advanced technology to manipulate people's thoughts and actions. They even suggest that this technology might involve a network of crystals and ancient artifacts.
Crystals and ancient artifacts.
Yeah.
That sounds like something out of Indiana Jones, not a conversation about John McAfee and mind control.
I know it sounds a little far-fetched, but remember, we're exploring the subconscious beliefs and perceptions here.
Right.
It's about considering different perspectives, even if they seem unusual at first.
Okay, fair enough.
Right.
But how would they actually use this technology? What kind of people would they even target with this?
According to Tamara's subject, the mental police target individuals who pose a threat to the system's control.
Yeah.
So, McAfee, with his outspoken views and his tech expertise.
He would have been right in their crosshairs.
Oh, yeah, definitely. He would have been a prime candidate for their attention.
So if this is true, if this system is real and they really have this kind of power, is there any hope for us? Is there any way to resist this kind of manipulation?
Well, interestingly, both of the hypnotic subjects seem to agree on one key aspect of resistance:
Okay.
human connection. They both emphasize the importance of maintaining spiritual freedom, being aware of digital manipulation, and really valuing real-world interactions over digital ones.
So fighting back against this potential mind control might be as simple as putting down our phones and actually connecting with each other.
It might sound overly simplistic, but both regressions seem to point to this idea that genuine human connection
Okay.
is a powerful antidote to the isolating effects of technology and this potential for manipulation.
That's actually quite hopeful. It's a good reminder that we have power in our connections with each other,
Absolutely.
that we don't have to be slaves to technology or to these unseen forces.
Right. It's about reclaiming our power.
So this brings us to the question of McAfee's legacy. What did he ultimately achieve, and what message did he leave behind for us?
Right, because after all this talk of systems and mind control, it's easy to kind of get lost in the darkness of it all.
Yeah. Did he leave us with any hope?
Well, according to Tamara's subject, McAfee actually chose not to return to his source after death.
Wait, return to his source.
Well,
What does that even mean?
it's a concept that's often used in spiritual and esoteric traditions
Okay.
to describe a non-physical dimension that exists alongside our physical reality.
Okay.
So in this context, it suggests that McAfee's consciousness, in a sense, persisted after death and remained connected to our world.
Okay, I'm following. So he's still out there fighting the good fight from beyond the grave.
That's what they're suggesting. And what's even more interesting is that both regressions highlight McAfee's belief
Okay.
in humanity's collective power to overcome this control. He believed that through awareness and unified action, we could break free from the grip of this system.
So even though he saw the dark side of technology, he still believed in humanity's potential to use it for good.
Exactly. He saw the dangers, but he also saw the possibilities.
Okay.
He believed that we could use technology to connect, to share information, to empower ourselves, rather than allowing it to be used against us.
That's a powerful message, especially given all the dark and disturbing things we've been talking about.
It is.
It's a good reminder that we're not powerless,
Right.
that we have a choice in how we engage with technology and the world around us.
Absolutely. And if we take McAfee's warnings to heart, we can be more mindful of the subtle ways in which our thoughts and actions are being influenced.
So where do we go from here? What can we actually do to fight back against this potential control?
Well, tomorrow's subject actually offers some pretty practical advice.
Okay.
They emphasize the importance of questioning the narratives that are presented to us by those in power,
Okay.
being mindful of the information that we consume, and really supporting individuals and organizations that are working to expose corruption and hold those in power accountable.
So it's not just about unplugging from technology. It's about being more discerning about how we use it and who we trust.
Exactly. It's about reclaiming our agency, our critical thinking skills, and our ability to make informed decisions in a world that's just saturated with information and manipulation.
That makes a lot of sense, but these are big systemic issues.
Yeah.
What can one person realistically do to make a difference?
Well, remember McAfee's belief in collective action.
Right.
Like each individual choice that we make, each time we question the status quo, each time we connect with someone authentically, we're contributing to a shift in consciousness.
So it's about individual action, but also recognizing that we're not alone in this fight.
Exactly. And this is where McAfee's story gets really interesting.
Okay.
Because both hypnotic subjects mention something kind of extraordinary about his abilities.
Right.
They describe his incredible ability to visualize and understand complex systems, almost like he could see the underlying code of reality itself.
Like he had a sixth sense for technology, or maybe even a glimpse into the matrix, like you were saying earlier.
Well, precisely, and here's where it gets even more intriguing.
Okay.
Svetlana's subject describes McAfee's ability as stemming from his etheric genome, which she says was hybridized.
Wait, hybridized? What does that even mean?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
Svetlana's subject doesn't really go into specifics, but it raises the possibility that McAfee's unique abilities might have been the result of something more than just natural talent or even genius.
Okay, now we're really venturing into uncharted territory here. What could this hybridization possibly mean? Are we talking about some kind of genetic manipulation or something even more mysterious?
That's a question that we might not be able to answer definitively.
Right.
But it's a fascinating detail that adds another layer of intrigue to McAfee's already enigmatic story.
For sure.
It suggests that there might be more to our reality, more to human potential than we currently understand.
It's almost like McAfee was a bridge between worlds a day. Someone who could see and interact with forces that most of us are completely oblivious to.
It's a compelling thought, isn't it?
It is.
And it makes you wonder if his warnings about control and manipulation stemmed from his unique perspective. Like his ability to see the strings being pulled behind the scenes.
It definitely adds a whole new dimension to his story, and it makes me wonder if he was right about the existence of this controlling system. What are the implications for our lives, for our societies, for our future?
That's a profound question, and one that deserves careful consideration.
Yeah.
Perhaps by exploring the common threads in these hypnotic regressions, we can glean some insights into the nature of this system, its motivations, and its potential impact on our world.
So instead of getting lost in the specific details of each regression, we should be looking for the bigger picture, the overarching themes that connect them.
Exactly. By focusing on the points of convergence, we might be able to decipher the true meaning of McAfee's warnings and find ways to navigate this increasingly complex and potentially controlled world.
That makes a lot of sense. But before we dive into that analysis, there's one more aspect of these hypnotic regressions that I'd like to explore.
Okay.
Both subjects mentioned this chilling concept of a mental police.
Right.
This force that supposedly monitors and controls our thoughts.
Yeah, it's a disturbing idea.
It's a terrifying prospect.
Yeah.
And I think it deserves a deeper dive.
I agree. The idea of our thoughts being controlled by some external force strikes at the very core of our sense of freedom and autonomy.
Yeah.
It's a concept that's both fascinating and disturbing.
For sure.
And I think it warrants further examination.
So let's delve into the details of this mental police. How do they operate? What are their capabilities?
Right.
And most importantly, is there anything we can do to protect ourselves from their influence?
Those are excellent questions, and I think the answers might lie in the details of both hypnotic regressions.
Okay.
Perhaps by comparing and contrasting their descriptions, we can gain a clearer understanding of this disturbing phenomenon and its potential impact on our lives.
This is getting really intense, but before we venture further into the world of mind control and mental police, let's take a moment to kind of gather our thoughts and reflect on what we've learned so far.
I think that's a wise decision. It seems like every corner we turn in McAfee's story just reveals another layer of complexity and intrigue. It's almost as if he deliberately constructed his life as a series of riddles, daring us to decipher their meaning.
And who better to help us decipher those riddles than someone who claims to have access to McAfee's subconscious through these hypnotic regressions?
Ah, indeed. But with such extraordinary claims comes the responsibility to consider all perspectives.
Of course.
What stands out to you so far? What resonates with your own understanding of McAfee and the world that he inhabited?
Honestly, it's all a bit overwhelming.
Yeah.
On the one hand, it's easy to just dismiss these hypnotic regressions as pure fantasy.
Sure.
But on the other hand, there's this chilling coherence to some of the claims, especially when you consider McAfee's own words and actions during his life.
I feel like those two things are speaking to each other.
Yeah.
In a way.
I mean,
that's the beauty of a deep dive like this.
yeah.
We're not just accepting information at face value, we're engaging in critical thinking.
Right. Yeah.
We're questioning assumptions and we're considering different viewpoints.
It's like we're piecing together a puzzle, and these hypnotic regressions are just a few of the pieces.
Exactly.
We might not have the complete picture yet, but we're starting to see some patterns emerge.
We are, and as we delve deeper into these regressions, I suspect we'll uncover even more connections and insights that will help us to make sense of McAfee's enigmatic life and legacy.
Okay, I'm ready for the next layer of this puzzle. Let's dive back into the world of mental police and see what else we can uncover about this disturbing concept.
Let's do it.
Okay, so we're back and ready to unpack this idea of a mental police. It's a pretty heavy concept, so let's break it down.
Sure.
What did these hypnotic subjects actually say about how this mind control works?
Well, both regressions describe this mental police as using some sort of advanced technology to influence people's thoughts and actions. Tamara's subject even suggests a network of crystals and ancient artifacts being used to manipulate Earth's energy for this purpose.
Okay, crystals and ancient artifacts. That's definitely a new one for me.
Right.
But putting that aside for a moment, how does this mental police actually affect people? Like, what are the consequences of this supposed mind control?
Both hypnotic subjects kind of suggest that the goal is to basically neutralize individuals who threaten the system's control.
Okay.
McAfee, with his tech expertise and his outspokenness, he was clearly a prime target for them.
So they're not just monitoring our thoughts. They're actively trying to manipulate them to steer people away from certain ideas or actions.
Yeah, it's a chilling thought for sure.
It is a chilling thought. And it really raises questions about how much control we really have over our own minds.
Right.
Like, are we making decisions freely, or are we being subtly influenced by forces that we're not even aware of?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. So if this system is real and they have this kind of power, is there anything we can do to protect ourselves?
Interestingly, both hypnotic subjects emphasize the same point: human connection. They suggest that fostering genuine, real-world relationships is key to resisting this kind of manipulation.
Yeah.
It's like the antidote to the isolating effects of technology and mind control.
So putting down our phones, engaging in face-to-face conversations, building real communities, those are acts of resistance.
It seems so.
Yeah.
Both regressions suggest that these simple acts can help us reclaim our autonomy and strengthen our resilience against this external influence.
It's a powerful message. In a world that's increasingly dominated by technology and digital interaction, maybe the key to our freedom lies in rediscovering the power of human connection.
Exactly. It's about reclaiming our humanity, our ability to think critically, and our capacity for empathy and compassion.
Right.
These are the qualities that make us human,
Yeah.
and they're the very qualities that this system seeks to undermine.
Okay, so we've got this system, this mental police, this potential for mind control. There's a lot to process. But let's shift gears for a moment and talk about McAfee's legacy. What did he ultimately achieve? And what message did he leave behind for us?
Well, according to Tamara's hypnotic subject, McAfee chose not to return to his source after death.
Return to his source. What does that even mean?
It's a concept that's found in various spiritual traditions, suggesting that after death, our consciousness rejoins a larger universal consciousness. McAfee, according to this regression, chose to remain tethered to our world, fighting for humanity from a different plane of existence.
So he's still out there battling the system from beyond the grave.
Ah,
That's a pretty wild idea.
it is. And both regressions actually emphasize McAfee's unwavering belief in humanity's collective power to overcome this control.
Okay.
He believed that if we become aware of the manipulation and unite in our resistance, we can break free from this system's grip.
So even though he saw the dark side of technology and the potential for control, he still had hope for humanity.
Absolutely. He believed in our capacity for critical thinking,
Right.
our ability to connect with each other, and our innate desire for freedom. He saw these qualities as our greatest strengths, our best weapons against the forces that seek to control us.
That's a powerful message, especially in a world that often feels dominated by fear and division.
It is.
It's a reminder that we're not powerless, that we have agency,
Right.
and that together we can create a different future.
Precisely. McAfee's story, as revealed through these hypnotic regressions, is a call to action. It's a reminder to question the narratives that we're given, to connect with each other authentically,
Right.
and to fight for a world where freedom, autonomy, and human connection prevail.
It's been a wild ride exploring these hypnotic regressions and McAfee's life.
It has.
It definitely left me with a lot to think about.
Me too. It's a reminder that there's always more to learn, more to question, and more to discover about ourselves and the world around us.
Well said. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into the enigmatic world of John McAfee.
You're welcome.
It's been a thought-provoking and at times unsettling journey, but ultimately I think it's left us with a sense of hope
Yeah,
and a renewed commitment to questioning the nature of reality itself.
I think so too.
Well, that's it for this deep dive. We'll be back next week with another fascinating topic. Until then, stay curious and keep questioning.